All right, Mayor Ortiz.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City Council meeting for Burlingame for May 2nd. We're going to call the meeting to order at 7:01. And with that, we'll go straight to our Pledge of Allegiance. I've asked our fire chief to give us the pledge, hoping the city clerk will allow him this time.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief. With that, we'll move on to the roll call, Madam City Clerk.
Councilmember O'Brien.
Present.
Councilmember Beach. Yes. Councilmember Colson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brownrigg.
Yes.
Mayor Ortiz.
Yes.
Reporting in progress.
Okay, and a report out from a closed session. We did not have a closed session, so we move right on. Upcoming events, I do have a list. Okay, first of all, our city clerk asked me to remind everybody that our mail-in ballots are going out on May 9th. So please pay attention for your ballot and send it in as soon as you get it. We also have a great event coming up on June 15th. That is the ribbon cutting and grand opening for our new community center. So that's going to be a great event. We've been working on it for a long time. Also, she wants me to let you know that the summer edition of Live Play Burlingame will be in the mail on the week of May 19th. So keep an eye out for that. And then our library has the Chinatown Pretty. It's a book discussion tomorrow, Tuesday, May 3rd from 7 to 7:45. Please join photographer Andrea Lowe and writer Valerie Liu as they discuss their book, Chinatown Pretty, capturing the street style of senior citizens across 6 North American Chinatowns: San Francisco, Oakland, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, and Vancouver. Virtual event, there's no registration required. And then we also have Try Harder, a virtual movie screening and community discussion, Wednesday, May 11th at 6 p.m. The library will be presenting the documentary Try Harder, a local portrait of young adults in Lowell High School in San Francisco as they navigate a quintessential rite of passage, the college application process, and make it their own. No registration required. Thank you. And with that, colleagues, does anybody have any upcoming events they'd like to share? And having none, then we will move on to presentations. So item 6A is a proclamation recognizing the work of the Bay Area Leos Club and their plastic recycling. So let me read the proclamation. And somebody told me I have to slow down when I do these, so bear with me. Proclamation honoring the Bay Area Leo Club. Whereas the Bay Area Leo Club is a youth version of the International Lions Club, and whereas the Bay Area Leo Club participates in community service events and projects throughout the Bay Area, and especially in the Burlingame, San Mateo, and Hillsborough area. And whereas the Bay Area Leo Club has focused their service projects on climate action and helping the environment. And whereas the Bay Area Leo Club started the Trex Recycling Challenge to collect plastics from the community, sort through them, and send them to Trex to be recycled into park benches. And whereas the Bay Area Leo Club has collected over 1,600 pounds of plastic collected at Burlingame City Hall, Burlingame Main Library, and Hillsborough Town Hall. And whereas the Bay Area Leo Club has provided a valuable community service to the city of Burlingame.
It's just Jeff, you know,
and has demonstrated tremendous youth leadership. Now, therefore, I, Ricardo Ortiz, Mayor of the City of Burlingame, do hereby commend the Bay Area Leo Club and their commitment to the environment, local activism, and volunteer efforts, and thank them for their work championing sustainability. And I think we do have a representative from the Leo Club with us, Madam City Clerk. So if we could put him on camera.
Gal, who would you like me to bring over?
We have Joy Yo and Lauren Hong coming over.
Okay.
Very good. Welcome. And thank you for all you do, and congratulations on your proclamation. And if you want to say a few words.
Yes, thank you. I'm representing the Bay Area Leo Club.
We just thank you guys and the community for letting us be able to do this and work with Burlingame citizens. Our goal is just to collect plastic by helping the environment and improve our climate. This recycling challenge has been a really big success, and ultimately we've collected 1,600 pounds of plastic, which is a big turnout. We hope to grow our club and become more involved in volunteering, more opportunities such as, and allow youth our age to be able to help out with that. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much. And thank you for being here tonight with us. And that's, yeah, great things that you've done. So please keep it up. Thank you. And then we move on now to item number 6B, which is a proclamation recognizing May as Mental Health Awareness Month. So whereas mental health and freedom from substance use is fundamental to the overall health and well-being of all community members in Burlingame, regardless of gender, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, religion, or economic status. And whereas mental health and substance use conditions affected 1 in 4 adults in the United States in 2019, estimates suggest that 1 in 4 adults with a mental health condition are not receiving the help they need. And whereas mental health and substance use conditions are as treatable as other health conditions, and people who have mental health and substance use can recover and lead full productive lives. And whereas stigma prevents many from seeking services and support, education and contact with those sharing stories of hope and recovery are key to reducing this stigma. And whereas the 2022 May Mental Health Awareness Month focuses on the theme SMC Take Action MJC, which encourages everybody to take actionable steps towards supporting mental health. And whereas the San Mateo County MHM Planning Committee and partners have organized events for the month of May and created a new website to assist people with their mental health issues. And whereas the San Mateo County Behavioral Health and Recovery Services staff, community partners, and clients, consumers, and family members dedicate themselves to promoting wellness, resiliency, recovery, inclusion, and equity around mental health and substance use conditions and issues. Now, therefore, I, Ricardo Ortiz, Mayor of the City of Burlingame, do hereby recognize May 2022 as Mental Health Awareness Month. Thank you very much. And I don't believe we have anybody to receive this one, correct? Correct. So we will move on. Thank you all. And I don't know, colleagues, if anybody has any comments on any of the 2 proclamations. And having none, then we will move on to public comment. So this is a public comment for items that are not on the agenda. So with that, I'll pass it on to our city clerk.
Yeah, it looks like we have one hand up, so I'll unmute Lindsay.
Hi there, good evening, Mayor Ortiz and members of the council. My name is Lindsay Reich, and I am the president of Warm Water Wellness, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that I co-founded in response to the closure of the Nicholson Therapy Pool. So we currently have over 4,600 signatures on a petition that I created almost a year ago now. The facility is a precious gem in our community. It's been closed for nearly, for over 2 years now. It was closed in March of 2020, understandably because of COVID, and it never reopened. And Sutter, there has been such a lack of transparency throughout this process. We have been fighting. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of current users, and there will be thousands of future mobility impaired users who this is a crisis in our community. And my partner has a spinal cord injury, and I have watched him deteriorate without lack of access to this therapy pool. This is an essential medical resource for people who cannot exercise in the way that able-bodied people can. I just cannot express to you how heartbreaking it has been to watch his decline. He has gone from He's gone from being able to walk with 2 Canadian canes down the hall, take his scooter over to the therapy pool. And, it's not just a place for physical rehabilitation, it's also a place for emotional connection. Now he is at the point where he can barely lift a fork. I mean, he has just, it's been devastating. And I have a chronic pain condition. I was a patient of this facility for over 20 years. It's been life altering for me as well. And so many people in our community, seniors, we have a rapidly aging population. It's been devastating for seniors, for pregnant women, for children with special needs. This facility was created 25 years ago with $4 million of community donations. Sutter is a company that has $7.8 billion in reserves, has received $853 million in CARES funding for the purposes of not closing down facilities during the pandemic. That was $853 million in COVID funding. We're currently working with several pro bono attorneys. We are working closely with over a dozen local politicians to right this injustice and to encourage Sutter to reopen the pool. Currently, we have resolutions have been passed from the city. Well, the first one was from the Sequoia Healthcare District. The next one was from the County of San Mateo, and then recently the City of Millbrae and the City of San Mateo also passed resolutions. Again, encouraging Sutter to reverse this decision. And I'm here tonight to encourage you to do the same. I have been working closely with Councilwoman Amarantz Lee from City of San Mateo. I think she reached out to you and sent an email. I know our secretary of our organization also reached out. We would just really would ask that you please agendize this for your next meeting. We're trying to create a wave and get resolutions from San Francisco to San Jose.
Right, that's 3 minutes.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Reiki, and sorry for all the trouble, and we will definitely consider that. Thank you so much.
We have another hand up from the public of Pam, so I will unmute her. Go ahead, Pam. You need to unmute yourself. Pam? Okay, well, we'll circle back on that one. So then I don't have anyone else. I don't have any emails then.
Okay, very good. So
We'll try with Pam one more time.
very good.
Pam, go ahead and unmute yourself. Okay. If you can't unmute yourself, you can always email us at publiccomment@burlingame.org and we can read it from there. Oh, you're unmuted.
Okay, I'll try now. My name is Pam Heeman, and I'm one of the directors of the Warm Water Wellness Organization. We are a group of concerned pool patrons who represent those who are fighting to keep the Mickelson Therapy Pool at Mills Health Center open. Unfortunately, Sutter has decided to close the pool, and the Mickelson Therapy Pool is a vital therapeutic resource for mobility impaired Bay Area residents. Without the therapy pool, many patients cannot receive the essential treatment they need and deserve and are suffering both physically and mentally. The $4 million Mickelson Arthritis and Rehab Center was financed entirely by community donations when it opened in 1996. It has served disabled children with special needs, seniors, pregnant women, those with arthritis, post-surgical patients, amputees, those in chronic pain, and others with mobility impairments who rely on the type of therapy only available at Mickelson. There are no comparable pools on the peninsula that can provide the specific therapeutic benefits that Mickelson Therapy Pool offers. It's the only wheelchair accessible pool. It offers a lift for disabled patients and is heated to 92 degrees. This pool is a preventive as well as healing vehicle and is a much needed vital asset for our senior and disabled community members. Offering support are the Sequoia Healthcare District, the County of San Mateo, the cities of Millbrae and San Mateo, who have already passed resolutions to keep the pool open. We also have the support of Assemblyman Kevin Mullen, State Senator Josh Becker, Supervisor David Canepa, and a petition count of nearly 5,000 supporters who have rallied in on our behalf. I worked at Mills Peninsula for almost 30 years. During this time, I suffered a brain tumor, a broken ankle, a heart attack, 3 bouts of cancer, and degenerative disc disease. I was a pool patron for 22 years. The pool kept me active and was the only place that I wasn't in pain. During the last 2 years without the pool, many pool goers have suffered greatly. For myself, I've shrunk in height. I have excruciating back and leg pain. I have to have trigger point injections of steroid from my pain doctor every 3 months. I know that the cost of increased medical care far outweighs the monthly fee to be a member of the pool. We would greatly appreciate and encourage your support by writing to James Conforti, the interim CEO of Sutter Health Corporate in Sacramento, and by having Burlingame join the other cities by a resolution to keep the Mickelson Therapy Pool open. Please stand behind us and support us on this important cause for so many people. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Hanlon. I see my colleagues have raised hands. I just want to remind you this item is not on the agenda. So Councilmember Coulson.
Yes, it's not on the agenda, but I just have a point of clarification, which is, did we not send a letter of support early on? We sent a letter in September of 2021. Okay, so I just wanted the speakers to know that we were early on one of the big supporters and sent letter of support. So, we can, I just wanted to make sure they understood that.
Thank you. That's an important clarification. Thank you. Okay, do we have any other public comment?
We don't. We have a hand up from somebody who already spoke. You only get one shot at speaking, so we are all set.
Yeah, okay. And so, yeah, I encourage you, just please send us an email if you have a further comment to that, and we'll be happy to respond. With that, we will move on to item number 8, which is approval of the consent calendar.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
not knowing exactly what member of the audience might want to ask, given that we wrote the letter, could we somehow make it easy to find? It's very difficult to find documents in our agenda setting. Is there some way that the letter of support could be easy for a member of the public to find?
Yeah.
I'd be happy to email it to anyone who sends me an email. It's lgoldman@burlingame.org. And we can look and see if there's a place to put it on our website as well.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Back to item number 8, approval of the consent calendar. So colleagues, anybody who have an item they'd like to pull out of the consent agenda? I don't see any hands going up, so we will bring it to members of the public who wish to pull an item.
I don't see anyone with their hand up, and I don't have any emails, so we are good to go.
Great. So with that, then I'll move back to my colleagues. Anybody would like to make a motion?
Mayor, I move to approve items 8A through 8F.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
So we have a motion by Councilmember Beach and a second by Councilmember O'Brien. Roll call, please.
Councilmember O'Brien,
Yes.
Councilmember Beach,
Yes.
Councilmember Coulson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brownrigg,
Yes.
Mayor Ortiz.
Aye. Thank you. With that, we'll move on to item number 9, which is a public hearings. And 9A is a public hearing and adoption of a resolution approving the City of Burlingame master fee schedule for fiscal year 2022. And I believe it's our Finance Director, Ms. Yu Scott.
Good evening, Mayor and Council member. Each year, the City Council approves a master fee schedule as part of a budget process. Staff performs annual review and update to ensure the fee reflect current costs to provide service based on the city's user fee cost recovery policy. At April 4th meeting, the City Council approved the resolution intent to hold tonight's public hearing to update the city's master fee schedule. Since then, the staff made one adjustment to memorial bench fee on page 57 of the proposed master fee schedule. There are no changes to CCFD fee this year. Tonight, the council is asked to conduct public hearing to approve a master fee schedule for fiscal year 22-23. With that, I'm here to answer any question you may have.
Thank you for the presentation. Colleagues, do we have any questions of the finance director? Having none, then we will open it to the public and see if there's any public comment on our fee schedule.
Don't have any emails and I don't see any hands up, so you're good to go.
Great. So I'll bring it back to my colleagues. Any final comments, or would anybody like to make a motion?
Happy to make a motion to adopt the revised master fee schedule.
Happy to second that.
We have a motion by Vice Mayor Brownrigg and a second by Council Member Colson. Do we have roll call, please?
Councilmember O'Brien,
Yes.
Councilmember Beach,
Yes.
Councilmember Coulson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brownrigg,
Yes.
Mayor Ortiz.
Yes. Thank you. With that, we'll move on to item number 9B, which is a public hearing and adoption of Broadway area business improvement assessments for fiscal year 22-23. And I believe this is the city clerk is, no, who's, as again, okay. This is back to our finance director, Ms. Scott. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Council Member again. At the April 4th meeting, the City Council also approved resolution to intend to hold tonight public hearing for setting assessment for Broadway bid for fiscal year 22-23. Tonight, the council is asked to conduct a public hearing and determine if there's a protest by business that represent a majority of value of assessment. The city clerk can report on any protests received. Megan, did we receive anything? Okay. With that, the staff recommend to adopt the resolution and approve assessment. Before you make a motion, I would like to point out in the Exhibit A of the resolution, 3 of the items will be removed from the activity listing according to the Broadway bid President John Cavarini. They are still waiting for the San Mateo County Visitor Bureau to start Burlingame trolley services. The 3 items are planned hotel concierge tour, design, and then customer make 10 bikes rack with the Broadway arch logo, hotel book full-page advertising with Explorer Publishing. With that, I'm here to answer any question you may have.
Thank you, Director Scott. Colleagues, any questions of the finance director? Having none, then we will open it to members of the public for any comment on this item.
I don't have any emails and I'm not seeing anyone raising their hand.
Very good. Then it will bring it back to my colleagues for any final comments or for a motion to adopt it. Colleagues?
Go ahead and make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Okay. And we have a motion by Councilmember Coulson, a second by Councilmember Beach. If we could have roll call, please.
Councilmember O'Brien,
Yes.
Councilmember Beach,
Yes.
Councilmember Coulson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brownrigg,
Yes.
Mayor Ortiz.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all. And then thank you, Director Scott. Appreciate your presentation. And with that, we move on to item number 10A, which is the discussion to authorize the mayor to send a letter in response to the letter received from the YIMBY Law and the Greenbelt Alliance regarding the housing element update. And I believe it's Mr. the Community Development Director, Mr. Gardner.
Thank you, Mayor Ortiz and members of the council. The City Council received a letter dated April 21st, 2022 from YIMBY Law and Greenbelt Alliance regarding the 6th cycle housing element update. The letter cited 3 years of residential building permit history and based on that data, made conclusions regarding the city's zoning capacity. The response letter from the City Council outlines issues with the YIMBY Law Greenbelt Alliance methodology and provides a more complete overview of the city's housing production. Staff followed up with the letter's authors and had a meeting with each of them last week. Also in that meeting were representatives from the Housing Leadership Council and the Peninsula for Everyone organization. And we made a presentation that was very similar to the presentation from the joint City Council Planning Commission meeting on April 23rd. And overall, I think the meeting was productive. There is a proposed revision to the introduction of the letter, and this was emailed to council members earlier today. I will do a screen share as well just to review the proposed letter for the record. So allow me to pull this up. So this just makes changes to the first two paragraphs and provides just a little more refinement and encapsulates the message of the letter a little more in that first paragraph, and also provides a statistical comparison that if all of California jurisdictions were to expand their housing capacity by the same as what Burlingame has committed to, it would create many more units, more than 2.8 million. So with that, that's my presentation, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Director. Colleagues, any questions for our director? Councilmember Colson.
Thank you very much, Mayor Ortiz. Director Gardner, when you had this meeting with all of the housing advocates, were they confused in this meeting? Was there concern in this meeting? I mean, what was that reaction like? And also just a comment, which is I'm always sorry, and I'm a little frustrated that the staff has to do a big meeting with the council that's public, and then you guys got to do a lot more meetings, but thank you for doing that.
Sure. Well, I think the intention of the meeting on the staff level was, for whatever reason, the Burlingame message has not been communicated, or at least in this instance was not. So we wanted to be able to share what the city has been working on and determine, where things could have gone wrong. I think the letters were part of a campaign, and I don't want to second guess. I'll just say colleagues got identical letters in other jurisdictions, and the only changes were the numbers. So I think the point that the organizations were trying to make was just to ensure that jurisdictions had sufficient capacity. I do think it was helpful for us to share both the accomplishments as well as the game plan that the city has for its next housing element update. So I think it was helpful in that it was, we were meeting with people some of whom we had not met with before, and maybe were not familiar with Burlingame in particular. So I think it was helpful to bring them up to speed.
Thank you. Councilmember O'Brien.
Yes, I don't have a particular question. I mean, my question was kind of similar to Councilmember Colson's in regards to, the reaction to your meetings. So I appreciate our staff taking the time to meet with them. But, the general question is, where have they been this last year? I mean, I read this letter. This is an embarrassment for their groups. They definitely did not do their research. We also don't need to be reminded what our obligations are. We've been working on this for many years now, and they are clearly out of the loop. And maybe they should take a little bit more time in actually doing their jobs and looking at these cities and what they are doing. I think, Burlingame has been one of the leading cities in regards to looking at our RENA numbers and exceeding the RENA numbers in our 5th cycle, and almost 70% there for our RENA 6th cycle, which hasn't even started. So to me, I am so tired of listening to people saying Burlingame is not doing their job in regards to affordable housing. And like I said, this letter is an absolute embarrassment of these organizations, and they should futuristically please take the time to attend the meetings at the Planning Commission level and the council level to actually learn about what our city is doing. I mean, a prime example is, where were they when we had our joint planning and council meeting? They would have known all this. And if you don't want to do the research, then pick up the phone and call our planning department, and our planning staff would be more than happy to explain what we have done. So, I'm kind of sorry I have to do this publicly, but it keeps happening time and time and time again. And I, give kudos to our staff, to our council, to our planning commission, and to our community that has been quite involved in developing our general plans and our zoning updates and so forth. So I just need to make those comments this evening. So thank you, Kevin, for putting this letter together. I do hope they take this letter to heart and futuristically, instead of jumping to conclusions, actually do their work.
Okay, so colleagues, I'm gonna ask that we save the comments for after the public hearing. So if anybody has questions, I do have a question. And it struck me that this letter seemed like a form letter that they went in and changed a few facts about each city and then stamped it and sent it on to the next city. And they printed out just a bunch of these. Is that your sense, Mr. Director?
That's my sense from talking with colleagues and viewing some of the letters from the other jurisdictions. So what I do find particularly odd with that is the conclusions are all the same, no matter what the numbers are. So now I don't know whether maybe they just chose certain cities that they thought had the same conclusions, but I don't get the sense if they hadn't contacted us about our general plan and zoning map, I don't know if they would have contacted anyone else either. So that I did find odd that the letters were so identical other than the figures.
Okay, thank you. And with that, yes, I think we all share a little bit of the frustration. But let's open it up to members, unless colleagues. Oh, Councilmember Beach, I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor and staff, thanks for clearing up the misunderstanding. Were they enthusiastic about our good news, or were there any lingering concerns that they had, staff?
I would say in particular, there was a representative from Greenbelt Alliance who seemed quite supportive. And in fact, I mean, the way I ended the meeting, I said we would like support. We would like to work together. And Greenbelt Alliance in the past has endorsed certain development projects in Burlingame that they feel meet their objectives and vision. And we mentioned that and shared that we appreciated that. So we would hope that they could be more supportive and help reinforce the city's work on housing going forward.
Great. Thank you so much. That's good news.
Thank you. Colleagues, any other questions before we open it to the public? I don't see any raised hands. So with that, Madam City Clerk, if you could.
I don't have any emails and I don't see anyone with their hand up.
You know what, frankly, that's kind of disappointing that they were not able to join us tonight to share their concerns or give us the kudos that I feel we deserve. So that is very disappointing that there's nobody here to share their thoughts. So colleagues, any final comments, particularly on the wording? I think there were some questions about the wording on the letter, or anybody else wants to share their thoughts. Vice Mayor Brownrigg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No, I like the letter. I think it gets the message across, and appreciate staff taking the time to do that. And I thought the letter got stronger in the second iteration, but I just wanted to comment for anyone listening to this. You know, it's not as though any of us need a pat on the back. The point is, for those who want to create housing, where cities are actually stepping up and getting the job done, it's helpful to have that acknowledged, because otherwise residents have the feeling like no matter what they do, it's never going to make a difference. And that actually paradoxically reinforces NIMBYism, I think. Also, you know, and I think this is true for the state level, you know, the state should find a way to reward cities that are going above and beyond, because that's what encourages better action instead of constantly being, you know, the scold, so to speak. So it's not as though I don't want people to think like our feelings are hurt. That's really not what this is about. It's about trying to differentiate good actors from the ones who really aren't, you know, are doing their best not to change at all. So anyway, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate staff taking time to do the letter.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Yeah, and I do believe in kudos versus sticks. I think that's a way to get the needle moving. So Councilmember Coulson.
Thank you. Well, I'll tell you what I found the most interesting about this is I pulled up and researched the Greenbelt Alliance, and you look through their whole website and they have basically one out of all the projects that are going on all over the county. And there are projects going on all over the county. Anywhere you drive, you can see housing being built in this county, and the county has done a wonderful job through Home for All and the work that we're doing there in leading that effort and getting units built. So, you know, it's probably at some point even worth, I'll be sharing this with the Home for All people so they understand, you know, kind of the roadblocks that we're facing. And as the Vice Mayor points out, it's a little bit deflating when you're to your residents who are working really hard and being welcoming and wanting to have new housing built. And then when a letter like this comes across the transom, it can be very disenfranchising to them for their work that they're doing. But it's ironic that the one project that's mentioned by Greenbelt Alliance that they endorsed is 1766 El Camino Real in Burlingame. And I'm looking through the whole I looked through the whole website for everything. And this is the only project. And I'm thinking to myself, it would be so much more productive if these activist housing groups would actually come to the meetings. They would support the projects in the public meetings, which I don't ever see them doing. This is the first time I've ever seen this. And if they can write letters to us as council people, there's a lot of positive input that they can give. They can come to our housing element, they can come to our planning commission meetings. And this is great that they went and endorsed this one project, and maybe their resources would be better spent trying to support and help more of these kinds of projects get passed throughout the county, as opposed to simply providing really what are uninformed numbers and completely biased and sort of data massaged to sort of fit a narrative that I think they want to project, when in fact that narrative is changed and it's moving forward. So, you know, thank you. I think Councilman Brown or Vice Mayor Brownrigg, you articulated it very, very well. And I do think the letter is stronger with the second half. And I want to make sure, Kevin, when we have our big housing meetings, that all these organizations get invitations to come and they know the dates. And if they don't come and they don't participate through that public commentary process, well, then shame on them.
Thank you, Councilmember Colson. Colleagues, anybody else? And I do feel the frustration amongst all of us. We've gone out of our way to make things happen in the town, and the biggest complaint we ever receive is we're building too much, and in return we get a letter like this that it is so. Mr. Vice Mayor, my feelings are a little hurt. So with that, colleagues, anybody would like to propose a motion to send a letter out?
I would adopt or make a motion to send the letter.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember O'Brien, a second by Vice Mayor Brownrigg. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember O'Brien,
Yes.
Councilmember Beach,
Yes.
Councilmember Colson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Brownrigg,
Yes.
Mayor Ortiz.
Super, yes. Thank you. Thank you guys again. That's it obviously hit a nerve with all of us, and I'm glad to see it. So with that, we'll move on to item number 11, council committees and activities reports and announcements. Colleagues, anything you'd like to report for us? Councilmember Colson.
So I really just want to make sure, I know Margaret had a lot of things on her agenda, but I really want to reiterate that we'll be having the week of Tuesday, June 14th and the 15th will be that sort of opening celebration week for the community center, which is behind me. With the 14th being our legacy donor event and the 15th being more of our general public event in the evenings. We'll have local food, local music. It'll be really nice. And also just a big congratulations to Margaret and our staff for winning the Green Award, the All Electrification Green Award from Peninsula Clean Energy. I cannot be at that event because my daughter's graduating that day from college, working on that. So hopefully someone can be at the Sustainable San Mateo County Awards. I think it's 1 hour on Zoom, and I'm hoping even if it's someone from our staff, it would be wonderful. Margaret, maybe you're going to be there, to have someone there to, accept the wonderful accolades that I think the city deserves for the hard work they've done on that project.
We have a plan. It's the evening of our budget meeting, which starts at 6:30. So I know the event starts at 6. So they were going to try and get us at the beginning, and so the mayor can be there for that because it's all Zoom anyway. And if not, Segal Michael, our sustainability coordinator, said she would sit in for us and accept the award.
Great. Okay, so any other committee activities, reports, and announcements, colleagues? Nothing. Thank you, Councilmember Coulson. And with that, then we move on to future agenda items. Does anybody have a future agenda item to bring forward? Vice Mayor Brownrigg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At the SBWMA or Rethink Waste, we have been talking about, we are supporting, the agency is supporting a ballot initiative to reduce plastic in our environment. For us, it's not just an environmental issue, it's also a public health issue, and it's also a cost issue because a lot of this plastic can't be recycled and it just costs all of us money to handle the disposal. So I was hoping that we could perhaps agendize this topic and discuss whether the council would be willing to write a letter of endorsement for the initiative. So that's my ask. I have not pre-populated this with a second, so I invite colleagues if there's somebody willing to second this for consideration.
Mr. Vice Mayor, you have my second. So with that, Councilmember Coulson, did you have something else to say about this?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No.
Vice Mayor, if you have any materials you can send me about this initiative, that would be great.
I will. Thank you.
Councilmember Coulson, afterthought?
Just something, yes, I kind of screwed up. I should have put this under future agenda items as well, but I mean, not future agenda, but future items. But I'm going to sneak it in. If it's just May 6th, 10:30 on the Bayfront. Lisa, are we going to get an email? Have you heard about this? Len Matterman's getting, okay. So May 6th, 10:30 a.m. on the Bayfront, Assemblymember Mullen will be with us, with Len Matterman at One Shoreline to have a sort of check handover for the money that we're receiving to do the work on the analysis on the Bayfront. I'll make sure you all get invitations so you can come if you want.
Where is that, Councilman?
I don't know the exact location yet.
Yeah, last I heard was at Bayfront Park, but I don't know if that was finalized. So I'll share whenever I get it. I'll share with everybody.
You mean Bayside Park?
I'm sorry, Bayside Park. Yes.
Yeah. So just because it's this Friday, I wanted to make sure everybody just put it on their calendar. I think it's going to be like a 15-20 minute at the most type thing, but it's a really important work. And I think the assemblyman will be there joining us.
Do we know what time?
10:30 a.m.
10:30. Okay.
Yeah, with Len Matterman from and then the One Shoreline Board of Directors. Hopefully, I think we'll be there, and our colleagues, I think, from Millbrae, and maybe Hillsborough.
Okay, so back to future agenda items. Do we have anything else, colleagues? We have none, and then we have acknowledgements is for the agenda packets for the Planning Commission, the Traffic Safety Parking Commission, Beautification Commission, Parks and Recreation Commission, the Library Board of Trustees. They're available at www.burlingame.org. And with that, we move to adjournment. And colleagues, does anybody have somebody they'd like to remember to adjourn in their memory? I don't see any hands. So with that, we are adjourned. Thank you very much. Good night.